beam wasting no time when it's showtime.
You're listening to Clippers Countdown.
Welcome into Clippers Countdown, your lead-in to today's Clippers action.
Push it to the red line. Push it to the red line.
This is Los Angeles Clippers basketball.
Kawhi comes up with it. Superman slam with a right hand.
We about to put the energy on elevation.
LA Clippers basketball on the
Welcome into Clippers Countdown. Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day. As your LA Clippers are trying to box up some of the good vibes and cheer they received from Clipper Nation the last two games, and now take it with them out on the road in Portland tonight to face a 12-18 Blazers team after winning two straight at Intuit Dome, which gave their fans an early Christmas gift thanks to the Claw, who some were calling Santa Claus, in Kawhi Leonard on Tuesday night.
Kawhi Leonard, sharp angles, downhill, left-handed layup, and he puts it in for two. 7 early points for Kawhi. Kawhi in the lane gets hit and finishes the right-handed layup. Leonard, a chance for a three-point play. Kawhi Leonard angling, right block, fading away, and he fills it up. Oh, Kawhi Leonard with a tough bucket. Leonard, tight room for baseline, elevates and slams it with two hands. Dribbling back and forth, attacks the free throw line, pulls up, Leonard, money for the mid-range. 38 for the Claw, and they're up 22. Shovels Kawhi for 41, down Kawhi Leonard. The human flamethrower tie for the Clippers.
Yeah, Kawhi finished with a season high of 41, his sixth 40-point game as a Clipper, as they would hit 23s as a team and blow out the Houston Rockets by 20. Here was Kawhi post-game with Grant Liftman on NBC.
Kawhi, 41 points for you tonight, 16 of 23 from the field. How did you find that rhythm so early in this game?
Just getting to my spots, teammates trusting me, making shots, then I'm just happy we got the win. That's the most important.
You put up 128 points, 23s made. What are the keys to this offense moving forward?
We got to make threes. We haven't been making threes all year. It's pretty much why I've been losing basketball games, and we just got to keep a defensive effort every night too.
Two big back-to-back wins at home against two teams that are really high up in the Western Conference. Are the Clippers really trying to find their groove? Are you getting there? Are you there yet?
Yeah, I mean, we want to get some wins under our belts. It's strange that we haven't been able to, get consistent wins. Super excited for the group tonight, getting 2 in a row. And let's see if we could keep building from here.
Well, it's an opportunity to build maybe a 3-game winning streak today as the Clippers are in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off from Moda Center is just about 59 minutes away. Coming up here in your pregame show, we'll go back in time and Clippers Rewind, get to your player to watch as well. But up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off is just about 58 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. It is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Coming up, you're going to hear from the head coach and Tyronn Lue. But first, let's get out to Moto Center or up to Moto Center and get your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Boxing Day. How you doing, my friend?
Adam, it is so good to hear your voice. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Merry Clippers are back playing. I'm excited. It's a great day. We get a gift of a Clipper game taking on the Portland Trailblazers. And, for the Clippers, an opportunity to maybe grab a 3-game winning streak. Who would have thought? Here we go. Clippers, 1 road game before 5 straight at home. Let's see if they can make it a good road trip.
Clippers trying to do that against the Blazers tonight. Let's go back to what happened, though, on Tuesday. Pre-Christmas against the Houston Rockets. Clippers would win 128-108, maybe their most complete performance of the season, considering the opposition, considering they had to overcome Noah Zubac in the ballgame against the best rebounding team in the league and a historically great rebounding team who the Clippers held their own against, and Kawhi Leonard more than held his own with 41 points.
Yeah, he was excellent in that game. It's hard to believe, Adam, but it's just a 5th non-overtime game in which Kawhi has had 40 points. I mean, that's how special that last game was for the Clippers. He was dominant from the get-go. We talked about pregame when he's grabbing rebounds, he's engaged, is something that Ty Lue mentioned. He has 8 rebounds in that game and kind of spoke to the truth. And Kawhi Leonard, as much as we love him, he always talks about what exactly the Clippers need to do best. He's very much not going to sugarcoat anything. He was asked post-game, what'd you guys do so well? How'd you win this game? He said, well, we made threes. And they did. They made a ton of threes. They made 20 threes, a season high. And they shot their second best three-point percentage of the season when making 20 threes. But the Clippers really got an all-star, really an MVP-type performance from Kawhi Leonard with his 41 points.
You mentioned them making threes from the outside. Kobe Sanders was perfect. John Collins was perfect. Some of those guys who had been struggling, specifically with John Collins so far this season, was shooting about 30% from the outside heading into that ball game, may have turned a corner individually, which would be huge for this team if he has more confidence in the outside shot.
Yeah, that would be massive. I mean, he's 5 for 6 his last 2 games from the outside, but this is somebody who can shoot the 3 ball at an elite level, 40% a season ago. So can the Clippers get John Collins to be that outside threat? One thing that has been talked about when Brook Lopez is starting, there's a lot more room on the floor because Ivica Zubac plays with his back to the basket. He plays in the paint, and the Clippers love that. This is not a knock on Big Zoo, but there's just simply more spacing because somebody like Brook Lopez can shoot the 3 ball from the outside. We'll see if that helps somebody like John Collins, who's trying to get going from the outside.
Yeah, John Collins coming off a game where he had 13 points, but 3 of 3 from the outside, 5 boards, 5 assists as well. James Harden showed up. Coming off that injury, he's starting to look more and more like himself. 7 of 14 from the field, 29 points, 6 assists. James Harden keeping the trains running on time with just getting that offense going. They missed him a few games ago with all those turnovers we saw.
What's something I've noticed about this season's James Harden than last season's James Harden, Adam, which has been a little different. He's been a much more efficient 3-point shooter. He's actually 4th in the NBA in 3-pointers made per game. In totality this season for the Clippers, shooting about 37% from 3. And like you said, I mean, he just makes sure everyone is in the right spot at the right time. Really has been the leader for this team. And what I've been impressed most about James Harden is he has never wavered in his confidence with this group and never wavered with his effort on the floor. And the one game he played poorly, he was trying to play through a calf injury that he probably shouldn't have been playing through. But as Ty Lue says, he wants to play every single time. James Harden said on the post game, they have to build on this momentum, and the Clippers can do that. But it starts with him being great on both sides of the floor, being a good point of attack defender, and then also being able to create his own offense. 29 points on 14 shots. An efficient 29 points was huge for James Harden and the Clippers.
Getting to the free throw line, the Clippers won the free throw battle, going 24 of 27 at the charity stripe, which they do percentage-wise typically. But this time they got there on volume, and James Harden was a big part of that. This Clipper squad, though, we know they've needed more from the others, from the young guys. Kobe Sanders, I mentioned him going 3 of 3, 4 of 5 overall, a +6, 13 points out there. There have been times where it's looked like, understandably, he's hit the rookie wall, but he's starting to come out of that a little bit. You're starting to see flashes of what we saw early on from Kobe Sanders.
Yeah, the sample sizes are so small that he goes 3 of 3 in the last game, Adam, and now he's a 39% three-point shooter because he hasn't been able to play that much. I mean, this was somebody who wasn't even in the rotation maybe the first 15 games of the season. He didn't even play last time these two teams faced off back on October 26th against the Portland Trailblazers. Kobe Sanders, when he's hitting shots and when he's able to hold his own individually one-on-one on the defensive end, he's an asset for this Clippers team. He's 6'8", 6'7", depending on where you look. He's got the length, the athleticism, and really the experience. Never feels like he's sped up. Never feels like he's trying to force a pass or force a play. Really plays within his own skill set. And the Clippers got the best of Kobe Sanders in the last game. You mentioned getting to the free throw line. Kobe's 24 for 26 on the free throw line this season. 92% from the charity stripe. When he gets downhill, I mean, the Clippers have now Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Kobe Sanders all above 88% from the free throw line. That's a big reason why they're the second best free throw shooting team in the NBA. But if they can get to the charity stripe, they can really burn other teams and get easy looks.
Clippers taking on the Blazers tonight up at Moda Center. Tip-off is just about 51 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez on the call. And coming up next, he's got his one-on-one conversation with the head coach and Teron Lue right here on Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the Blazers up in the Pacific Northwest from Moda Center. Tip-off is just about 46 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. It's Clippers Countdown. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind. But first, let's head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez.
Thanks so much, Adam, here with head coach Teron Lue before the Clippers take on the Portland Trailblazers. Coach, you guys are 6th in the NBA in three-point percentage allowed the last 5 games. What's been the key to being better on that side of the ball?
I think the biggest thing is point of attack defense. Like if our guards are getting over those screens and pick and rolls, that allows Zoo and Brooke to be, in a drop where we can try to play the pick and roll 2-on-2. When you have a lot of space and guys are coming off, guys got to pull in for the roll, and now you skip it, you ain't close out opportunities. That gives them a lot of threes. And so I think, a mixture with our bigs being up a little bit more and with our guards doing a better job of getting into the body.
Kawhi has taken the most shots per game since his first year with the Clippers. What's led to his increase in maybe looking for his own shot offensively?
Yeah, I think just get him in the right spots. I think, him being confident and taking those shots, because he doesn't like to play that way, all the time. But sometimes we need that. We need him to be aggressive. We need him to score the basketball, and just a fine line when teams are double teaming. He's doing a good job of just making the right pass and play. When they're playing in 1-on-1, like we need him to score the basketball.
2 more for you. When you watch the film from the last game, what's the biggest difference between when Brooks starting versus Zoo starting now that you'll have Brook in the starting lineup for a couple games?
Well, I mean, you get a stretch 5. I think offensively it makes us different. I think we're able to attack the rim more because it's not a 5 just sitting in the paint. What makes it harder for us is, like you said, Zoo being able to post him and be able to demand double teams, and now we can spray the ball, move the ball around. And Zoo's good also in that little pocket area as well. So, I mean, 2 different players, and like I said, we need them both together, but right now, just I think Brook being able to spread the floor has allowed us to get to the basket a little bit more.
Last one for you. The last 2 games, it feels like you guys have been able to play at your pace throughout the game. Portland, obviously top 5 in the NBA in pace. How do you continue to play at your pace tonight?
Just got to be smart. I think, our pace allows us to play the way we want to play if we take care of the basketball. If we're taking care of the basketball, like last game against Houston, we only had 2 turnovers at halftime. So when we're taking care of the basketball, we're a totally different team, and we can play at our own pace when we do that.
Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Coach Lou pregame with Carlo Jimenez as we get set for the Clippers up north, taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Tip-off is just about 44 minutes away. I'm Adam Moslin. This is Clippers Countdown, and coming up next, we'll go back in time and Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off is just about 41 minutes away. Coming up, we'll get your player to watch. I'm Adam Moslin. Welcome back in. But first, we got to go back in time in Clippers Rewind. All right, we're going back to December 22nd of 2017. So almost, 8 years ago to the day? So at that time, you know what? It was 8 years ago, October 26th of 2017. Got that wrong. One of the greatest sequels was out, Blade Runner 2049. Nothing wrong there. One of the best sequels ever. Bodak Yellow by Cardi B was at the top of the Billboard charts, and the Clippers were down late in Portland, and they needed a star to hit a big shot for them.
The game in the balance. Gallinari inbounds on the near side across from the Blazer bench. Hunting for a white shirt. Finds Beverly straight away. 4 to shoot. Right wing over to Griffin. Now he's on the left wing and left-handed dribble. Fires a 3. This is for the win. He put it in. Hot damn! Hot Oh my goodness! At the buzzer, Blake Griffin with a 3. Wow! And he walks off the court. Clippers are winners 104-103.
Yeah, Brian Seaman on the call there. Blake Griffin finished with 25 points and that game winner. The Clippers would win 104-103 up north in Portland. Blake, an all-time great Clipper, of course, and in the studio tonight for Amazon Prime, when the game is on television. Good to see him there. I think his analyst work is pretty strong so far. Clippers taking on the Blazers. Tip-off just 38 minutes away. Coming up next, your player to watch. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off 38 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Welcome back in. I'm your host, Adam Osland. Get to me at Follow Adam A on X. If you want to get in on the YouTube side, that's at Clippers Talk. Still to come, back to Carlo Jimenez. But first,
This is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
tonight in this one, I am watching John Collins. Is he finally turning into the player we thought he would be with this Clipper squad, which is why everyone was pining over getting him for years now in Clipper Nation? I know you guys have been looking forward to getting him. The season has not started off the way he and the Clippers had hoped, but the last 3 games against the Lakers, 13 and hit 3 3-pointers against Houston on Tuesday night with 5 boards and 5 assists, a couple of blocks, a couple of steals as well. A more complete game. The hustle plays are starting to work out for him. At times it felt like he was out of position. At times it felt like he was still getting used to the starting lineup. But Brook Lopez in the starting lineup, well, that's a guy he played with a lot during the preseason, during training camp, because he was initially in the second unit. So that gives him a little bit more familiarity and built up chemistry out there. And I think the shot is just starting to come around for him and other Clippers that are progressing to the mean after this team shot a real rough percentage from the outside so far this season. I think they're about 17th when it comes to three-point shooting, just over 35% from distance. Well, they hit 23s last time out, and John Collins went 3 of 3 against the Houston Rockets on Tuesday night. Want to see if he can build on that. If the Clippers can build on that too and play better team ball while John Collins fits in and gets comfy. All right, tip-off. Just about 35 minutes away. Clippers up in Portland taking on the Blazers. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers up north taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Tip-off is just 32 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Moslin. This is the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. It's Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez. But first, I want to give you your injury report. For the Clippers, of course, still no Ivica Zubac. Remember, he was diagnosed with that grade 2 left ankle sprain, out for at least 3 weeks. Obviously, Bradley Beal out for the season. Ray J. Dennis is in the G League right now. Derek Jones Jr. still out with the right knee sprain. As for the Portland Trail Blazers, a lot of injuries. Jeremy Grant out, left Achilles tendonitis. Scoot Henderson out with that left hamstring tear. Drew Holiday is out, right calf strain. Obviously, no Dame Dalla right now for them. Matisse Thybulle is out, left thumb injury. Blake Wesley out, right foot. It's unbelievable. Robert Williams, though, is available in this ball game and makes a big difference if you look at the on-off swings net rating wise with him on the court versus off the court. Robert Williams, if he could ever stay healthy, he would be a very solid starting center in this league. It's been unfortunate. We know how that goes. Clippers taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Tip-off 30 minutes away. Coming up next, we'll talk about a new report regarding the trade deadline. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Portland taking on the Blazers. Welcome back. I'm Adam Moslin. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Tip-off just about 28 minutes away from Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Coming up, we'll go back to Carlo Jimenez and get your drive around the league, but I do want to comment on this report from earlier today from Brian Windhorst saying, quote, the Clippers will be buyers or sellers at the deadline. It will be one or the other, with the team expected to firmly commit to one direction. Not the band, but the vision for this squad moving forward. He also comments how this decision could impact the NBA trade deadline landscape, of course, because if the Clippers were to have a massive sell-off, which means not just one of their stars, but multiple stars being shipped out, which would make the most sense because if you're trading Kawhi, why are you keeping James Harden? If you're trading James Harden, why are you keeping Kawhi? And then you might think about, well, why are we keeping Ivica Zubac if we're having a complete teardown who's going to be 29 in March and has the most trade value, despite what some people think about Zubac as a player? Everybody in the NBA, every scout, every GM, every guy that has played against him knows how valuable and how good he is and what a valuable contract he possesses as well. One of the biggest bargains in the league. When you look at on-off impacts, Ivica Zubac and his net rating on the floor for the Clippers versus off, you see exactly what I'm talking about going back over 5 years now. But this Clippers team, they could be at a crossroads. They're 8-21. Are they going to be able to turn this thing around? There were signs that they were defensively even before Ivica Zubac went down. I know a lot are putting people are putting a lot into, let's see, that would be 7 quarters so far without Ivica Zubac, basically, going back to the end of the first quarter when he got injured against the Lakers, and they're 2-0. And they're thinking, okay, that's the difference. Brook Lopez is in, Zubac is out. Most of the same people that were slandering Brook Lopez and saying he's washed are now all of a sudden going after Ivica Zubac because the Clippers have won a couple of games without him. Well, it's typically never that simple. This Clippers team defensively, if you look at the process and defensive rating over the last 8 to 10 games, they have been pointing back in the right direction on the defensive end. You could see it. They were losing late. They were losing close games to good teams. They were not able to finish. They were not able to close out games, but through the majority of those games, their defense was much better. I'm talking about in contests like against the Houston Rockets when they were out there on the road, losing 115-113, having the unfortunate play with Nico Batum, stepping out of bounds when there was about to be a 5-second on him and nobody came to get the basketball at the end of that game. I'm talking about the Timberwolves game before that. They couldn't get a rebound, a defensive rebound. Naz Reid gets it. They end up losing 109-106. Hit that three-pointer. I'm talking about in Memphis. They held the Grizzlies to 107 points. We're tied up at 98 with 4 minutes left. They couldn't close. But you see them also holding the Hawks to 92 points. So 92, 98, 106. They weren't giving up a ton of points. They already looked like they were turning a corner, getting back to their defensive principles. But they weren't getting the end result because they would have slippage at the very end of the game in key possessions and their offense would stall out at times. Well, the offense has been better the last couple of games. Against the Lakers, they only scored 103 points, but they outshot them and held the Lakers to 88 points total. The last 2 games, for the first time in a long time, they've had 2 games in a row where the Clippers were shooting much better from 3 than their opponent. As in last game where they hit 11 more three-pointers than the Houston Rockets. While some are trying to extrapolate, well, look, they're better without Ivica Zubac. That's a crazy statement to make, especially when you look at outlier shooting, like them having the best shooting performance of the season, going 20 of 37 from distance. The truth is, and Kawhi brought it up post-game, is that this team has not been good enough from distance all season long. Not each and every night. Are they better than they have been shooting? Yes. They should progress the mean a little bit. Do they have the personnel to go 20 of 37 every game? No, nobody does. That's outlier, fluky shooting you cannot rely upon, and you can't rely upon the opponent going 9 of 30 from the outside all the time, like we saw with the Houston Rockets on Tuesday night. So some of the numbers have been trending in the Clippers' favor recently, going back again 8 to 10 games, and now they're starting to pick up a couple of wins. We'll see if they can keep this going, but my opinion is if they continue to lose or just tread water and never go on one of those stretches where they win 12 of 15 games or anything like that, then you still have to consider having a sell off at some point if the price is right, if you're getting back value in return. There's no point in giving up Kawhi or James Harden for second round picks if also teams are giving you bad contracts back, which are going to limit you in the future. Any trade the Clippers make, they are not sacrificing future cap room. I can guarantee you that. Meaning guys that have contracts, unless they're good young players, that go beyond the summer of 2027. The Clippers have been lining this up for multiple seasons where they have two possible, depending on what happens in the next 2 years, max slots open for 2027. Now, you may say, well, who's coming in 2027? Well, we don't know. Giannis could be a free agent. Jokic could be a free agent. There's a good chance they still won't be. But they already have 2 first-round picks back they can trade. They have players on tradable contracts. You can trade picks and players to bring in guys to absorb that cap space. That's the other side of this right now that people aren't considering when they think, oh, who's going to be the realistic unrestricted free agent? They don't have to be. The Clippers are getting back assets right now. Yes, you don't want to give away all your first-round picks like we saw in the SGA trade. That was a once-in-a-lifetime type of offer because at the time you're getting the Finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard and a guy who finished top 3 in MVP and Defensive Player of the Year voting in Paul George. Those things, the stars don't align like that very often. The Clippers had to take that chance. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. Was it a good process? Yes. The majority of the time, you could bring in a Finals MVP in his prime and another guy who looked like a top 5 player of the 2018-2019 season in Paul George. You do it each and every time and live with the results. Unfortunately, everything went against them, including a lot of bad luck with injuries. The least likely scenarios occurred. With them having so many injuries, including an ACL on their way to looking like they're about to win a championship. And then also the other end of it, where a rookie who averages 10 points per game was all NBA rookie second team in SGA turned out to be one of the best players in the NBA in an MVP last season. Both those things happening at once are extremely fluky, and you could say Clippers luck. But the truth is, if you get the same opportunity again to strike a similar deal like that, you got to do it. It's a good process. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in 2027. The NBA landscape has changed. The CBA, the second apron has changed things. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again. What I am telling you, though, is the Clippers are starting to get back their first-round picks. They're starting to grab them back as the years move on. They currently have a 2030 first-round pick and a 2032 first-round pick that they do have full control over that they can trade. In between there, they have a pick swap in 2031. After this year, they'll also have their 2033 pick swap that they'll have back. So by the time they're getting to 2027, see where I'm going with this, they have a war chest of assets. And what they're not going to do is trade for the wrong guy that's going to take up cap space that's going to take away the possibility of them being able to go out and get one of the top guys, either through unrestricted free agency or through a trade based upon what they will have to offer at that point. But there's much to learn about this season. Are they going to be able to figure things out to turn it around? Or is it best case scenario, the 10th seed in the Western Conference and the prospect of going into, at best, a first-round series with the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you make it out of the play-in, doesn't look like a good one for the Clippers, and they're getting trade offers from teams with late first-round picks for Kawhi, for James Harden, could be multiple first-round picks for Ivica Zubac. Then you got to field offers. You got to see what's out there. Somebody might make a Godfather offer because as the season goes along, teams are going to be getting closer and closer to the postseason, see what they need, and know if they need a player that can take them over the top, that could change their destiny. That's when they start getting a little bit more desperate. That's when they start upping the trade offers. And all you need is 2 teams to pit against one another to then really drive up the price of a player. We don't know if that's the direction the Clippers are going. Just based off this report from Brian Windhorst, I don't want to say it's much ado about nothing, but him saying it will be one or the other, well, it kind of has to be. I don't think there are going to be any half measures. If they have a sell off, for instance, like I said earlier, I don't think you can trade James Harden and just have Kawhi and a bunch of young guys. I don't know if that would be best for Kawhi now. Kawhi Leonard, when he came to this franchise, it became a destination franchise. He was the first most coveted free agent to actually choose the Clippers to be the place to go to. So there's something symbolic there. There's more than just, I think, a hard business decision. Yes, in the past, there have been some of those with Blake Griffin. I don't think they want to do that and blindside a player like Kawhi Leonard at this point. We also don't know what his trade value is if a team is willing to do it because the aspiration investigation going on. But I'll tell you this, in some respect, I do think Kawhi and James Harden, of course, because he has somewhat of a no trade clause, will be involved in these conversations if they want to leave, where they would want to go. I don't think the Clippers would just completely blindside them. So there's that variable too. There's a lot to consider. Right now, the Clippers are 8-21. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know if this is the turning point we'll look back upon and say this is when they got it together and kicked into gear. We shall see. Tonight, they're in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off is just about 17 minutes away. Coming up next, we'll get your drive around the league. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Countdown right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Portland taking on the Blazers. Tip-off just about 14 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Osland. It is Clippers Countdown. Coming up in just a little bit, Carlo Jimenez will be back with us, but let's get to your drive around the league. Earlier in Indianapolis, the Celtics were winners 140-122 over the Pacers. Peyton Pritchard, 29 and 9 boards in the victory. Wizards at home, winning over the Raptors 138-117. What else do we got for you? The Hornets. Oh, but they suffered an injury. Knippel went out. Ankle turn. Looked kind of bad. They won 120-105 in Orlando over the Magic. Big victory, but at what cost? Miles Bridges did have 16, 11, and 3 blocks, but Colin Kneppel, this rookie class has been unbelievable. He's been a big part of it. Unfortunately, turned an ankle. Hawks would win in Atlanta 126-111. Jalen Johnson, who's having a huge season, still had 24, 9, and 10 assists in defeat. Norman Powell with 25 and 7 for Miami, who has, you could say, cooled off a little bit. They had just lost 8 of their last 9 games. They're 16 and 15 now on the season. Late fourth quarter in Chicago, 76ers 93, the Bulls 92 with 6:19 left in the fourth. Tyrese Maxey with 23 and 8 assists, and the Memphis Grizzlies lead late in the third quarter over the Milwaukee Bucks, 85-74. Triple J and Jaren Jackson Jr. with 19, 8, and 4 blocks. One more for you. Late third quarter in New Orleans, Suns 74, Pelicans 73. Mark Williams, underrated season so far, 14 and 10. 4 minutes left in the third. Suns by 1 over the Pelicans. Coming up next, we will get back to Carlo Jimenez from Moda Center in Portland. Clippers taking on the Blazers. I'm Adam Moslin. Tip-off just 12 minutes away right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Blazers from Portland. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Moslin. Tip-off is just about 10 minutes away. Coming up, we'll get to your keys to victory. But first, let's get back out to Moda Center with your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, I'm going to need you to do a deep dive for me and let me know who's available tonight for the Portland Trail Blazers and who should the Clippers be fearful of here?
All right.
Aware of, let's say.
Well, you have got your pen out. Here's who's out for the Portland Trail Blazers. You ready?
Gotcha.
All right. Javonte Cook, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, Matisse Thybulle, Blake Wesley. All out. But
seems like a lot.
Yeah, a little bit. But they do have Denny Avdia, who has been unbelievable this season for the Portland Trail Blazers. Avdia is averaging 25.7 rebounds, 6 assists. The only other players averaging 25, 7, and 6 this season Their names are Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. So it's pretty good company for somebody like Denny Avdia. And then also, Shaedon Sharpe has turned a corner for this Blazers team as of late. He started the last 6 games, and in those 6 games, Adam, he's averaging 25 points a contest on 53% from the field. Those two, the Clippers really have to keep their eye out, especially on the defensive end. They have been leading the Trailblazers.
So, Clippers' third game pretty much without Ivica Zubac. Had him throughout most of the first quarter against the Lakers, and they were up by, I think, 10 when he rolled the ankle. But, Carlo, what should be my plan for how to stamp out the Clippers are better without Ivica Zubac talk if they win this ball game? What do I do? What do I do? Give me some guidance.
I mean, I think, Adam, you just have to understand that the Clippers are a team that need Ivica Zubac to win games. If you often look at the highest scoring game Zubac has had, they're wins for the Clippers for the most part. And you look at the games in which the Clippers are great, it's when they rebound the ball, and Ivica Zubac is great at rebounding the ball. I'd also tell you that a lot of teams are adjusting to a new Clipper style of basketball. And early on, this is going to be advantage Clippers because there's not a lot of tape out there on Brook Lopez and the starting 4 with him on the floor. And the Clippers now have an opportunity with not a lot of tape out there on this group to be able to find rhythm offensively. So I think you have to give it time. But I think the other thing is just sometimes a mix-up is good for this team, and maybe you can find a rhythm. And then when you get Big Zoo back, integrate him back into playing well. I think, when the Clippers started so strong earlier this season, or earlier last season, Adam, nobody said, oh, they're better without Kawhi Leonard. What's not nobody said
Let me
that.
tell you, I had a few people in the chat, Carlo.
Wow.
Trust
me.
me.
Those people do not know ball. But I think that you just have to – this is a similar situation. Ivica Zubac is a great player, and the Clippers are definitely not better without him. They can still win, though, without him. That is true, and they're starting to do that.
Well, and I thought Brook Lopez was serviceable last time out. While he didn't shoot it that well, he gave them what they needed with some rim protection out there, and he is a floor spacer, and they are playing a different style of ball with a more 5-out look because Brook is a threat from distance.
Look, if you were tuned into our pregame show earlier, like you should have been, you would have heard Ty Lue talk about how when Brook Lopez is on the floor, they have a little bit more room to drive the lane, to get downhill, and that creates open looks from the three-point line because when you get into the paint, you create paint touches, that sucks in the defense, and then somebody's usually open on the outside, and that's why we've seen the Clipper three-point numbers really skyrocket the last couple of games. There's just been more opportunity on the hardwood. Now, if Brook Lopez continues to play well in the starting lineup and the Clippers continue to find success, I don't think all of a sudden Brook Lopez becomes your starter. I think the Clippers now have an opportunity to play multiple styles, whether they want to play with Ivica Zubac back to the basket or they want to play with a little more spacing with Brook Lopez on the outside. Nonetheless, Adam, any success the Clippers can find is good success at this point in the season. So if they can find ways to win games with Brook Lopez, who is an excellent starting center, as your starting center, the Clippers are going to take that with the problem of trying to reintegrate Ivica Zubac later.
Well, the other part of it is, I think, wrapped up in their recent success is individual success with John Collins and just how much better he's looked the 2 or 3 last 3 games. And in fact, I got him as my player to watch tonight, Carlo. Who's your player to watch for the Clippers?
That was my player to watch.
Was he?
You got me.
Did I see your notes somehow? All the way up north?
He was all the way. He was right here. I wrote next to player to watch. Don't ask me. They'll show you again. I'm going to go Nico Batum, former Trailblazer. I love taking the former team guys, but I think Nico Batum has played really well for the Clippers as of late, 38% from the three-point line, 7 seasons here in Portland. Adam, Nico has not attempted a 2-point shot since November 14th. I think he does it today.
All right.
I think he attempts a 2-point shot today.
Nico downhill. He's dunking on somebody back in Portland tonight.
Look out. Look out.
Carlo Jimenez on the call. Tip-off just about 6 minutes away from Moda Center. Coming up next, we'll get your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the Blazers in Portland. Tip-off just moments away. Let's get to your keys to victory. Well, if you look over the last couple of games for the Portland Trail Blazers, both losses to the Magic, where they shot just 9 of 32 from the outside. That was just a few nights ago up in Portland. And before that, it was to the Detroit Pistons, where they also did not shoot it well from distance in that ball game. It turns out that three-point battle is a pretty good indicator of who wins games. They were just 7 of 32. 9 of 32 and 7 of 32. So we're talking about 16 for the last 64 from the outside. Portland has been struggling from distance. They have a lot of injuries going on. Obviously, Denny Avdia is a guy you got to watch and slow down and make sure he doesn't get going early. But overall, you got to close out on those three-pointers. The Clippers probably got away with some poor perimeter defense just because shot variance went their way the last couple of games against Houston, especially against the Lakers, who missed a lot of wide open shots. Don't give Portland too many wide open shots so they start knocking them down and feeling good about themselves up at Moda Center. All right, here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez with you next for Tip-Off, Clippers and Blazers, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.